As the Elbaph arc has been progressing, it can be really hard to keep track of every single location on the island, from each individual village, from each branch, the 3 realms, and even the subdivisions between each of those locations. So I thought I would draw out a map of Elbaph and break down every single location and part of the island, including each of their inspirations from Norse culture, to provide all the geographical information and give you a good sense of space awareness that you need to properly understand the Elbaph arc. As someone who has made extensive use of therapy across the years to help with my health, something that was a real game changer for me was the advent of online therapy. And that's exactly how this video sponsor, BetterHelp, works. Rather than needing to take time to book a therapist and go to them presentially, you can just connect with them through an online call by getting matched to a therapist that works for you with a simple questionnaire, as well as switch around at any time without extra costs to find the one best suited for you. On a personal note, I've always firmly believed that going to therapy is like going to the dentist. It's the type of thing that everyone should be actively doing to take care of their health. If you got some deep baggage seriously impairing your life, it can make a massive difference. But even if you feel like you've got things pretty figured out, therapy can make your life even better and more enjoyable. For me, therapy has legitimately changed my life to the point of finally beginning to truly enjoy it. So I firmly believe that it can help change yours as well, and that everybody needs to at least try it out. Check the link in the description below or go to betterhelp.com/Arthur and get 10% off your first month of therapy. So to start things off, we have the island itself. Often simply shortened to Elbaph, Elbaph Island is an island in the latter side of the New World on the logpost route east of Wano, host to the country of giants known as the Warland Kingdom. Elbaph is a large island defined predominantly by a colossal tree that takes up most of its landscape, stretching far into the sky, known as the Treasure Tree Adam. Alongside the far larger Sun Tree Eve, the Adam is one of 2 colossal trees in the world, known for its incredibly durable bark, which has survived through many conflicts and assaults. Though other Adam trees exist in the world, this is said to be the biggest of them all. Its wood is sold on the black market for hundreds of millions, as it is a coveted material to build ships with, making them resistant to cannonballs and powerful attacks. The Oro Jackson and Thousand Sunny, ships of Goldie Roger and Monkey D. Luffy, were crafted with Adam wood. Surrounding the Adam tree at its roots are large spiky mountains that dot the coastline, forming what is known as the first layer, the Underworld. Due to the leaves covering the sun at the lower level, it has become a fairly cold climate. Higher up the tree, the weather is more favorable, which is where giants built most of their villages, in what is called the second layer, the Sunworld. The very top instead is known as the Celestialworld. Streams of water emerge from across the tree, which result in great waterfalls descending from its leaves. The fauna and flora of Elbaph are known to be particularly gigantic, much like the island's inhabitants. Colossal fishes surround the island, making it incredibly difficult to approach, and many dangerous wild beasts also prowl the forests of this land, particularly in its underworld, known to be some of the most dangerous fauna in all of Blue Star. Given how Elbaph is largely inspired by Norse mythology, the large tree at its center is inspired by the Yggdrasil, the world tree upon which the 9 realms rest in Norse myth. The Meikai, or Underworld, is the first world of the 3 layers that compose the island of Elbaph, as such also commonly called the First World. It refers to the lowest area located at sea level, which hosts a rather frigid climate due to the leaves of the Treasure Tree Adam, limiting the amount of light that reaches there. The people of Warland claim that this land has been abandoned by the sun, which they venerate in their religion, thus being the reason it is covered in snow. As such, the giants prefer to live up top on the second layer, reserving this area as fundamentally a prison where giants are banished to, where the penitentiary was found within what is now known as Block Castle. A tavern is also found by the coast for giants wishing to stop there before heading up. After Prince Loki murdered his father to eat his legendary fruit, he was banished by the giants to the Underworld, who chained him up for 6 years to the almond tree itself to ensure he wouldn't escape. Though giants rarely prowl this lower level, humans have nonetheless survived here, with some humans trying to live in the harsh forests by covering themselves in carcasses to avoid avoid being smelled by the animals. Most of Warland's dangerous fauna lives in the Underworld, with incredibly dangerous animals prowling its forests. Each mountain, which are believed to have existed for tens of thousands of years, has its own lord, which is the apex predator of its region. Famously, Shiki the Golden Lion seemingly abducted several beasts from Elbaph due to their peerless strength in order to build an army of evolved animals with which to take over the world, which he took to the archipelago of Merville. The Underworld is likely inspired by Niflheim, which is the hell or underworld of Norse mythology, and the first of 9 realms of the Yggdrasil, known for being frozen over and where punished beings are banished to. The Block Castle is the name given by Rode to an abandoned castle in the southwestern side of Elbaph's underworld that he took control of, which was originally known as the Penitentiary. Originally, this castle was kept in the underworld to serve as a prison for giants that needed to be kept behind bars, but has been out of use for a while. As such, Loki was instead imprisoned near it by being tied directly to the southern side of the Treasure Tree Adam. The castle is built on a tall mountain within the underworld, towering over most of the mountains in the region. It is connected by a large suspension bridge to the tree that leads directly to the Sunworld near the West Village. After the Penitentiary became abandoned, Rode secretly took ownership of it, building his Block Country in a room inside the castle where he would roleplay as the Lord Sun God. The Block Country, as nicknamed by the Straw Hats, is a non-government independent thearchy found inside of Elbaph's Block Castle, also known by its citizens as a God's Land, terminology similar to that of angel settlements. In reality, the whole country exists entirely within the room of the giant Block Castle found in Elbaph's underworld. This toy diorama is encased within a cube of see-through mirrors and painted roofs with cotton clouds to give the illusion that it is the outside world from the inside. Rode would then kidnap humans and place them within this diorama to live out their lives like a role-playing game, whom he referred to as live dolls. Due to the smaller size of humans, this microscopic world of blocks would appear normal size to them and like an entire country, despite existing entirely in just one giant's room. As such, this country is not really known or recognized on a global scale, as Rode kept it as his personal secret to fantasize and roleplay in. Rode would disguise himself with a moose skull and make himself known to the people of his country as the Lord Sun God, due to the importance of the sun god Nika in Elbaph culture. He would also add several of his pets, giants, and dangerous animals from the underworld into the diorama to force the citizens to revere the beasts as gods they should fear in a twisted game of survival. The country was seemingly put at an end once Girth and the other new giant warrior pirates found out about it. At the edge of the country, built into the wall, is a large tree, which is known as the Yggdrasil, kanji reading World Tree, likely inspired by the treasure tree Adam found inside. More towards the center is instead a town, a spring, and a forest, next to which is Bigstein Castle. The use of building bricks is likely inspired by Lego, the famous brand from the Nordic country of Denmark, of which Oda is a big fan of. The Yggdrasil is of course named directly after the famous tree in Norse mythology. Bigstein Castle, translating to Big Block's Castle, is the royal castle of the Block Country found inside of Elbaph's Block Castle. The castle, built on a hill of blocks, is composed by several chambers and hallways, all intricately built with building blocks, which included a large inner courtyard on a higher elevated side of the castle that stretches up even higher, as the highest point in the country. Several Rhodes pets, which were treated like deities by the live dolls of the Block Country, inhabited this castle. This included the Mimigami, ear god, a giant bunny, the Harigami, needle god, a giant porcupine, and Stingmores, giant bees. The leader of them all, however, was Iskat, a large cat acting as the lord of Bigstein Castle, draped in a cape and crown, who has the power to transform into a lion. Bigstein flies flags that serve as the symbol of the Block Country, which are fairly similar to the symbol of the ancient kingdom of a sun with 8 protrusions. The temple, kanji literally meaning God's Palace, is a region in the Block Country found inside of Elbaph's Block Castle. Formally, the temple is considered to be the sacred shrine of the Lord Sun God, the deity that rules over the God Country, and its access is forbidden to the country's inhabitants, as none who have ventured there have returned. In reality, the temple is just a room of the castle that Rode used as a studio to control the people of his country. Within this room is a large table where Rode would develop many of his constructions, as well as handcraft Elbaph-inspired outfits for the inhabitants of his RPG. One of the walls of the room is a one-way mirror that overlooks into the Block Country in the adjacent room, with part of the mirror being an openable door from which Rode would enter into the country. country. Several of Rhodes' pets resided in the temple, which is why anyone who tried to escape through it, being the only escape route from the Block Country, would end up being devoured by them. And this included the giant snake Hirmungandr and the giant crow Mugin, which would abduct ships and carry them to the Block Country for Rhode to introduce new residents. Moving on, the Yokai, or Sunworld, is the second world of the three layers that compose the island of Elbaph. It refers to the middle area located atop the leaves of the treasure tree Adam, upon which rests soil on which the giants have built Elbaph's several villages, each ruled by its own chieftain. It is named as the Sunworld due to the sun being able to reach this area, making its climate more temperate compared to the Underworld below. Several giant cannons are also found at the edges of the branches to defend against invaders. The Sunworld is subdivided into different wards that encompass an agglomeration of branches, which are all specifically numbered as well. A giant sword appears to be encrusted into the tree's southern side on this level, stretching all the way down to the Underworld. The Sunworld can be accessed either by a bridge heading down to the Underworld's penitentiary fortress or by riding one of the rainbows that sprout out of it. Said rainbows, which can be more easily spawned through the use of painter's sunstones, are in liquid form, moving upwards like a flowing river, thus allowing ships to reach the Sunrealm simply by riding a rainbow up to it. The Sunworld likely represents Asgard, the realm of gods in Norse mythology found atop the Yggdrasil, which was accessed with the rainbow bridge known as the Bifrost. The West Village is a village found on Elbaph's Sunworld level on its western side within the second forest ward and resting on the tip of Branch Route 8, or BR8 for short, Jukpachi. The West Village is one of several villages found in Elbaph, being the location where the royal castle is found, seemingly acting as a capital of sorts. Due to its political importance, some more generically refer to it just as Elbaph's village, despite other villages existing. Beyond actual land resting atop the branch, island clouds and sea clouds also surround the village, allowing ships to dock by harbor by navigating through the island's rainbows. The village itself is dotted by many traditional Elbaph wooden houses, both larger and larger, leading into massive drops with its cascading waterfalls in a sight that can only be defined as breathtaking. It is from this village that the captains of the giant warrior pirates, Dori and Brogi, originate from, and where the members of the new giant warrior pirates were also raised. Within the village was the House of Lambs, an orphanage run by Mother Carmel as a front for her child trafficking operations, having tricked the giants of Elbaph until Linlin rampaged the West Village 63 years ago during one of her hunger pangs, forcing her to relocate on what would become Whole Cake Island. Aurust Castle is the royal castle of Elbaph Island, located by the West Village on the western side of the Sunworld level. The castle sits atop a branch extending from the village, guarded by a large set of gates leading into the fortress ruling over Elbaph. This majestic castle has fallen in disrepair ever since King Harald's death 14 years ago, supposedly at the hands of his son Prince Loki, with only a handful of guards keeping a look over it now. Past the main gate is a vast hall with bridges extending over a lower level, leading to a set of other chambers that end in stairs leading to a higher floor. Heading up can be found the throne room, the seat of power of the Warland Kingdom, featuring a large and opulent throne. Within this room, Shamrock and Gunko made use of an abyss pentagram to infiltrate Elbaph. It is similarly located by the easternmost tower of the castle. The treasure room, a hidden treasure room where many of Elbaph's greatest treasures were stored, though now that the castle has been abandoned, only the key to Loki's cuffs was left there. This room can be accessed by pushing the throne in the throne room and heading down a set of stairs. Luffy and Zoro fought Skoppergaban here, which resulted in him destroying part of the eastern tower in which this room is located. The Senshi no Izumi, translatable as either the Warrior's Spring or Warrior's Fountain, is an area found in the southwestern side of Elbaph's Sunworld, resting atop the beginning of Branch Route 8, which leads to the West Village. The Warrior's Spring is mostly composed by a large branch from which a large waterfall cascades down, forming a small lake of water. When the tree fossilizes and withers, it becomes grains of dust that form the sand composing a natural beach that surrounds the spring. Within this spring is where the ancient Owl Library is found, and recently nearby was also built the Walrus School. The Owl Library is a library located atop the branch from where the Warrior's Spring waterfall descends. Access via a bridge leading up to the branch, this library contains a wealth of knowledge stored inside countless books. It is run by Professor Sol and his assistant Anje, but is the territory of the ancient owl Biblo, who has eaten a fruit that allows it to grow all the books within the library to grow to giant size, safekeeping it for centuries. Through the help of the new giant Haugen warrior pirates, Sol saved and preserved the large part of the Library of Ohara by transferring all of its books here, which had been saved during Horus Buster Call by the efforts of the island's scholars. Found within the library is also the Harley, the ancient sacred text of Elbaph that describe the three worlds. The Walrus School, or Seiyuchi no Gakko, is a school carved inside the trunk of a large branch found within the Warrior's Spring, where Elbaph's future generations are educated. The school features several round-shaped buildings which serve as classrooms and other spaces for learning. Several swings also hang from the branches and other places for the children to play around with, who also enjoy frolicking in the nearby beach. Some of its locations include the playground, being a large open courtyard at the center of the school, and the faculty room, where teachers oversee the school. The school was founded 20 years ago by Jaguar D. Sol, who sought refugee after the Horus Buster Call, under directions of the former King Harold, emphasizing a culture of education and trade over one of barbarity and plundering, showing a societal shift in Elbaph's culture. The school is led by Principal Kiba and features a staff of teachers, including History Professor Sol, Linguistics Professor Anje, Biology Professor Ripley, Mathematics Professor Blade, and Physical Education Professor Wolf. Shokunin Village, or Craftsmen Village, is a village of giants pertaining to the Warland Kingdom located on the southeastern side of Elbaph's Sunworld. As its name indicates, the giants in this village are great craftsmen, seemingly having a tradition of wielding hammers, which might be used for smithing but were also used in combat. It is characterized by having cylindrical buildings. Karyudo Village, or Huntsmen Village, is a village of giants pertaining to the Warland Kingdom located on the northwestern side of Elbaph's Sunworld. Its locals are great hunters, distinguished by wearing pelts of dead animals as clothing. They have tall houses with distinguishable conical roofs. Ryoshi Village, or Fisherman Village, is a village of giants pertaining to the Warland Kingdom, located on the eastern side of Elbaph's Sunworld. As its name suggests, the locals are likely great fishermen, skilled at catching the giant fish on the shores of Elbaph. Its buildings are characterized by being suspended on platforms held by several beams. This is the village where Harold's lover, Ida, lived with her son Hyrudin, not being allowed in the royal castle due to not possessing Elbaph blood and thus not being allowed to become queen. But the villagers still amicably welcome her here. Sake Village, or Brew Village, is a village of giants pertaining to the Warland Kingdom, located on the northern side of Elbaph's Sunworld. The locals are most likely quite skilled at brewing alcohol, which the giants love to drink, particularly during festivities. Estrida, who would later become Queen of Elbaph after marrying King Harold in a political marriage arranged by the elders of the country, was born in this village, said to possess ancient Elbaph blood, and having been raised in a regal way as the child of powerfully influential individuals from that village. Haugen, presumably formerly known as Haugen Village, was a village of giants found somewhere on Elbaph's Sunworld. This village of the Warland Kingdom was constructed atop one of the branches sprouting out of the Adam tree. However, one day lightning struck the branch, causing a great fire to engulf it and the entire village. Since the fire could not be stopped, to ensure that it would not spread to the rest of the tree, the branch was entirely cut, causing the entire village of Haugen to fall alongside it. Haugen is a common suffix used for village names in Norway. The facility is the name given to an ancient settlement found somewhere on Elbaph's Sunworld, hidden deep within a branch. It is seemingly located very close to the Warrior's Spring within walking distance. This facility was estimated by Vegapunk Lilith to be at least over 3,000 years old, meaning it likely was constructed during the First World. The people of Elbaph after had no idea what purpose it served, but preserved these ancient ruins for years to come. Lilith considered potentially making this site the location of her new laboratory. And finally, at last, we have the Tenkai, or Celestial World, alternatively Skyworld or Heaven World, being the third of the three layers that compose the island of Elbaph. It refers to the very top of the treasure tree Adam, the part that is completely exposed to the sky up top. It uses the same kanji as the celestial dragons, perhaps an allusion to the mythology of the three worlds and how they have been the rulers of the third world. While we're at it, let's talk about the Warland Kingdom itself. The Warland Kingdom is a non-government independent monarchy of giants located on the island of Elbaph in the New World. It is also sometimes referred to as Elbaph from the island's name as a collective term. Though not the only country of giants, it is the most famously known one, as its giant population are known as some of the fiercest warriors in the whole world, for which it is known by many as the world's strongest kingdom, Sekai Saikyou no Okoku, thanks to its powerful military, and it is even believed to have ruled the New World in times of old, which may potentially be part of a period known as the Era of War, Senso no Jidai, in which ancient giants particularly came to be feared. An ancient civilization with connections to the ancient kingdom of the Void Century, Warland has maintained a warrior culture built on honor and pride, which coupled with their innate strength as giants has made them a power envied even by the world government, which tried for a long while to build a giant army of its own through recruitments and scientific augmentations, as well as trying to subjugate Elbaph. So strong is it, in fact, that Big Mom believed that joining forces with them would make her the dominating emperor of the world and potentially even Pirate King, though her planned marriage with them fell through when her engaged daughter Lola ran away. The way of the warrior for the giants of Warland is a discipline that is instilled to kids from their youth. Given how giants live over triple and sometimes even quadruple of what humans do, aging half as slow for a certain period until they basically plateau, what matters the most to them is finding closure in an honorable death. They have a deeply spiritualistic religious belief, or the belief that the god of Elbaph will protect the righteous, leading them to settle their disputes through deadly combats. Among their gods is the sun god Nika, even holding a winter solstice festival every December where they fast for 12 days in order to honor the death and rebirth of the sun, symbolizing the dawn. This fiercer nature in their culture has led them to become powerful pirates and pillagers, leading for several generations the powerful giant warrior pirates. The country's military formed as a pirate crew led by two giant captains that terrorized many human settlements across the world. However, after the giant warrior pirates' captain Dorian Bragi entered a duel for the past century over a small dispute, the crew fell apart until the present day, when the captains finally reunited. In the meantime, Prince Hyrodin also formed the new giant warrior pirates, which became subservient to the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. The government took advantage during this period to build some connections with them through their underworld agent Mother Carmel, but ultimately didn't make much progress after a young Big Mom accidentally brought down the Elbaph Village during one of her hunger pangs when she was being raised by Carmel there. Up until 14 years ago, Warland was ruled by King Harald, a monarch who had wanted to shift Elbaph's culture from plunder towards trade, until his son Prince Loki supposedly murdered him for the sake of eating a legendary devil fruit passed down in Elbaph royalty. Loki was chained up in the Underworld, thus making the incumbent king his older brother Hyrodin, except he had been rejected by the people of Elbaph due to his mother not being from the island, though Hyrodin hopes to unite all the giants in the world together as one. Harald had changed the policies of Elbaph to pursue an ideal of peace and trade, but it appears like the government had some interference in that regard in an attempt to seize control of Warland. The Red Hair Pirates also offered their protection to the country, though it's unknown if the island is officially part of their protectorate or if they are simply on good terms. The warriors of Warland are inspired by the Vikings of Old Norse culture, who effectively acted as pirates and were one of Oda's greatest inspirations for One Piece, particularly from the Vikey the Viking cartoon. Elbaph and its Adam Tree have stood for potentially thousands of years as a timeless treasure of this world's history, one that now stands at the precipice of collapse. It falls to our heroes and us as well to preserve its timeless history.